गर्ने क्रममा ओभरको 5औं बल डट बल राख्न सफल रहेका छन्। 5औं बल डटसँगै अब अन्तिम बल बाँकी रहेको छ। यो ओभरको समाप्ति हुनको लागि 14.5 ओभरभित्रमा 14.5 बलभित्रमा 63 रन रहेको छ। 2 विकेटको नोक्सानीमा। भाइ म माल्टाबाट है भन्दै हुन्छ विवश ढकालले। भाइ के भयो भन्दै हुनुहुँदो रहेछ अघि चाहिँ बोलेको थिइनँ, मुखमा घाउ आएर बोल्न अलिकति कठिन हुँदो रहेछ नि त, त्यही भएर मात्रै हो। ओभरको अन्तिम बलमा अन्तिम बल पनि डटसँगै यति बेला 15 ओभरको खेल समाप्त भएको छ। 15 ओभरको समाप्तिमा 63 रन 2 विकेटको नोक्सानीमा रहेको छ टिम क्यानाडा र 15 ओभरको खेल समाप्त भएसँगै अब 16औं ओभरको सुरुवात हुन गइरहेको छ। हिजोको गेम के भएको ब्रो भनिदिनुहुन्छ विपिन परियारले। हिजोको खेल चाहिँ रद्द भयो होइन, पानी परेको कारणले गर्दाखेरि हिजो खेल बिचैबाट रद्द भएको थियो। बिचैबाट होइन, खेलै सुरु नै भएन, टस समेत भएन होइन। हिजो टस समेत भएको थिएन, पानीले ग्राउन्ड पुरै भिजेको भएकाले त्यस्तो भएको। रेशम रोकाया वेलकम टु द स्ट्रिम। हामीसँग केटिएमबाट लाइभमा जोइन भइदिनु भएकोमा धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद दिन चाहन्छु। बलिङको लागि यति बेला आदिल अन्सरी आएका छन्। ओभरको पहिलो बल डटसँगै सुरुवात भएको छ। खेलको 16औं ओभरको आदिल अन्सरीद्वारा पहिलो बल डट बल राख्न सफल रहेका छन् र पहिलो बल डटसँगै सुरु भएको छ 16 ओभरको। र आदिल अन्सरी रहेछ भने 3.1 ओभर बलिङ गर्दै एउटा मेडन राखेर 8 रन दिई 1 विकेट लिएका छन्। ओभरको दोस्रो बलमा पनि डट बल राख्न सफल रहेका छन् आदिल अन्सरी। लगातार 2टा डट बल अखिल कुमारलाई 10 बलको सामना गरेका अखिल कुमारले यसमा 3 रन बनाएका छन्। उनको ब्याटबाट कुनै पनि बाउन्ड्री भने प्रहार भएको छैन। त्यसको साथ उनको साथमा एरन जोन्सन रहेका छन्। 43 रनमा खेलिरहेका छन्। उनको विकेट आवश्यक छ नेपाली टोलीलाई। 53 बलको सामना गरेका एरन जोन्सनले 43 रन बनाइसकेका छन्। त्यसकारणले गर्दा उनको विकेट निकै नै महत्त्वपूर्ण छ। मात्र 7 रन टाढा छन् उनी आफ्नो अर्धशतकबाट। ओभरको चौथो बल लिएर बलिङ गर्ने क्रममा रहनेछन्। तेस्रो बल पनि डट पर रहेको छ। लगातार 3 बल डटसँग अब ओभरको चौथो बल लिएर पुनः आदिल अन्सरी बलिङ गर्ने क्रममा। एरोन जोन्स राम्रो ब्याटिङ गर्ने रहेछन् भन्दै धनबहादुर बिठारी ब्रदरले। म स्याङ्जाबाट अनि तिमी भन्छ म झापाबाट है त। अलिक बिस्तारै बोल्छु किन, मुख अलिकति भनिरहेको छु, मुखमा घाउ आएको कारणले गर्दा हामी केही बेर चाहिँ मैले चाहिँ माइक नै पुरै अफ गरिदिएको थिएँ र अहिले फेरि पनि अब बिस्तारै चाहिँ बोल्दा हुन्छ होला सायद होइन। ओभरको चौथो बल पनि डट पर रहेको थियो। ओभरको 5औं बल लिएर पुनः राइट आर्म ओभर द विकेट बलिङ गर्ने क्रममा रहनेछन्। राइट आर्म ओभर द विकेट बलिङ गर्ने क्रममा रहनेछन् आदिल अन्सरी। उनको यो व्यक्तिगत चौथो ओभर रहेको छ भने खेलको 16औं ओभर चलिरहेको छ। ओभरको 5औं बल डट पर राख्दै पुनः डट बल राख्न सफल रहेको छ। 5औं बल डटसँगै अब अन्तिम बल बाँकी रहेको छ यो ओभरको समाप्ति हुनको लागि। आज सुम्पालाई किन नखेलाएको होला भन्दै हुनुहुन्छ, थाहा भएन। एरन जोन्सनको विकेट दिनु पर्यो अब भन्दैछ मदन सापकोटाले। स्याङ्जाली र झापालीको भेट भयो भन्दैछ एसएल इलेक्ट्रिसियनले। ओभरको 5औं बल डट बल राख्न सफल रहेका थिए। 5औं बल डटसँग अब अन्तिम बल बाँकी रहेको छ। मोहम्मद आदिल आलमको यो ओभरको अन्तिम बलको सामना गर्नेछन् अखिल कुमारले। दाइ मेरो पढ्नु नभन्दै हुन्छ, के पढ्नु पर्ने हो र हजुरको चाहिँ। र अन्तिम बल लिएर पुनः राइट आर्म ओभर द विकेट आदिल अन्सरी बलिङ गर्ने क्रममा। स्ट्राइकमा एरन जोन्सन। ओभरको अन्तिम बल अखिल कुमार रहेका थिए, माफ गर्नुलाई। स्ट्राइकमा ओभरको अन्तिम बल 1 रनको साथ समाप्त भएको छ खेलको 16औं ओभरको। अन्सारी हो भाइ, अन्सरी होइन भनिन्छ, अन्सारी आदिल अन्सारी। जहिले पनि छुटाउनुहुन्छ कमेन्ट भन्दै हुनुहुन्छ। अब मिस्टेक हुन्छ होला कहिलेकाहीँ, अब पढ्न पाइँदैन होला, के गर्ने र। स्पिन र पेसको बलिङ गर्दा साइड चेन्ज गर्दै गरेको छ क्या भन्दै हुनुहुन्छ। कस्तो भन्न खोज्नुभएको, साइड भनौँ न प्रायः जस्तो चाहिँ ओभर द विकेटै बलिङ गरिरहेका छन्। सन्दीप आएका छन् बलिङ गर्नको लागि। ओभरको पहिलो बल सन्दीप लामिछानेको ओभरको पहिलो बल स्ट्राइकमा रहेका छन्। अखिल कुमार ओभरको पहिलो बल डटसँगै सुरुवात खेलको 17औं ओभरको 2टा स्लिपको साथ सन्दीप एट्याकिङ गरिरहेका छन्। हजुर कुन लेभलको स्टुडेन्ट हो भनेर सेकेन्ड इयरको स्टुडेन्ट हो। सेङ्जारीलाई नभन जाली तिम्रो पनि सिउँदो छ खालि विकेट देऊ यसपालि भनेर मनोज लामी छाने रे। ब्रो आइएम फ्रम पोखरा भन्दै हुन्छ हरि छेत्रीले। आइसिसी हो कि टी20 हो भन्दै हुनुहुन्छ। आइसिसी हो कि टी20 हो ब्रो? अरे 50 हो कि टी20 हो भन्न खोज्नु भएको होला सायद। 50 ओभरको है त। लाइभ अफ क्यानाडा नो गुड हरे छेत्री राम काजीले। आदिलको प्रदर्शन राम्रो भइरहेको छ भन्ने धनबहादुर बिठारीले। दिपेन्द्रलाई ल्याउनु पर्यो भने चाहिँ एसएल इलेक्ट्रिसियनले। ओभरको दोस्रो बलमा 1 रन प्राप्त गरेको थियो। दोस्रो बलमा 1 रनसँगै अब ओभरको तेस्रो बल गर्ने क्रममा लामी छाने स्ट्राइकमा रहनेछन्। एरन जोन्स ओभरको तेस्रो बल 1 रनको लागि खेल्दै स्ट्राइक परिवर्तन गराएका छन्। अब अखिल कुमार रहन्छन् स्ट्राइकमा। ओभरको ओभर हुन प्राप्त गरेको छ। ओभरको 5औं बल लिएर लामी छाने पुनः बलिङ गर्ने क्रममा 2टा स्लिपको साथ बलिङ गरिरहेका छन्। 5औं बल स्विप सट प्रहार भएको छ। पछाडि फिल्डर तैनात रहेका छन् र 1 रन मात्र मिल्नेछ। ओभरको 5औं बलमा 1 रनसँगै 67 रन यति बेला क्यानाडाको खातामा रहेको छ। युट्युबबाट इन्कम कति हुन्छ ब्रदर भन्दै हुन्छ। ठिकठाक नै हुन्छ ब्रो। दाङमा पानी परेको छ त्यता पानी परेको छ कि नै? यता त परेको छैन। यता मदन सापकोटा। क्यानाडाको लाइभ सही साह्रै नराम्रो क्वालिटी छैन भन्दै हुनुहुन्छ। एउटा मात्र क्यामेरा युज गरिएको छ। एउटा क्यामेरा मात्र युज गरेको छ त्यही
7 ओभरको स्पेल सकिसक्दा कुनै पनि
खेल सकिँदासम्म यति बेला नेपाल क्यानाडाको टोली 67 रन 3 विकेटको नोक्सानीमा रहेको छ भने स्कोर अगाडि बढाउनेतर्फ त लागिरहेको छ। र 17 ओभरको खेल समाप्त भएको छ। 67 रन 3 विकेटको नोक्सानीमा यति बेला क्यानाडाको टोली खेलको 18 ओभरको सुरुवात गर्नका लागि यति बेला बलिङको निमित्त मोहम्मद आदिल अन्सरी आएका छन् जनसनले 50 पुऱ्याउनु पाएन बिचरा भन्दैछ कुलमानी बस्नेतले। क्यान्डाले धेरै रन बनाउन पर्छ 300 जति अनि नेपाली ब्याटिङको अभ्यास हुन्छ भन्दै छेत्री राम काजीले।
चौध ओभर 15-16 14 14 ओभर 15-16 14 देखि 16-17 18 14 ओभर 15-16 14 देखि 16-17
what we've seen so far, he might be a central figure moving forward. Just 3 ODIs passed, 3 T20s back, 4 list 8 games. Best figures of 345. He might look better at that today.
He's certainly bowling very well right now, and Harsh is in the firing line as soon as he's walked in. But you make a very good point that Canada's been at the run rate that they have been thanks to the big hitting of Aaron Johnson. I would say, though, that Harsh, as much as he is a strike rotator, he's also capable of hitting the big shots, and he's really just got to work on getting his eye in at this point, because once he's done that, he's more than capable of clearing this boundary.
The other thing to note here is that this bounce let's say from the ball. partnership.
Yes, it has been an incredible bowling partnership, and it's great match awareness from the keeper to know that the ball is still moving, and they're not giving the batters any chance to stand outside that crease to try and negate that at all. They want to put the pressure on at every point in this game that they can. And now that the over is done, Sandeep Lamichhane is back on.
And that's been played away beautifully by Akil Kumar. There's just a quick outfield as that's running away. The ball fielder down, just cutting it off. Giving it to two, Harsh looking to come back. No, will not. So saving 2 runs there. Is Colin Saraf. And again, he himself alone has seen probably anywhere from 5 to 10 runs already in this game.
Yeah, everyone's making a huge impact on the field, and these runs are certainly going to help them when they come out to bat.
More starting to pick Sandeep. But again, I think the intent has been better with Harsh. That's a little bit slightly shorter, getting a lot of turn there, Sandeep Lamichhane, and Akil Kumar just unsure what to do that. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and say he left that one alone. As a Canadian, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt.
I think that sounds good. But you can see that there's a lot of communication happening between Harsh and Akil Kumar. They're certainly communicating about what sort of deliveries Sandeep Lamichhane is bowling. They're trying to read it to each other, and they're trying to walk each other through some of these tougher overs of Sandeep Lamichhane, which is fantastic because they're youngsters. They're communicating and they're reading the game.
That's another googly there, and Akil going for that big shot. There is nobody out at the deep play wicket boundary, so he decided to go for it. Again, taking a page out of England's Test cricket here. There's no fielders in the air for Akil Kumar, but just getting under that and just missing it. So again, the intent has certainly improved from these two just in the last few balls that we've seen. There it is again. There is a man out there, so it's just going to go one drop in front of him, one bounce, just a single to Akil Kumar. So he's not going to be too upset with Akil starting to play his shots. As you see, after 19 overs, the score 71 for 3. Sandeep Lamichhane, 5 overs, 1 for 23. Mohammad Adil Alam, 5 overs, 1 for 10. As we see another bowling change coming in, we'll see who that is. That looks to be Nasir Ahmed. Low left arm. Can't see what the both ends are.
Canadian batsmen are definitely going to be under some pressure here as they try and read the spin and rotate the strike. Harsh is still looking to get off of strike, and Akil Kumar has reached his double digits. He's now 10 off of 27.
You know, Manali, when Akil came into that, at the quality figures wicket, I said that his strike rate wouldn't be that low. He's let me down here a little bit, Manali, I gotta say. I'll let him know afterwards, but we all know the ability that Akil Kumar has. Being named to the ICC team at the 2020 World Cup in South Africa. Somebody that's been touted from a young age as a future. So he's getting his opportunity here, and he's going to be looking to cash in.
I think you're being a little bit tough on him, but I do understand what you mean by his strike rate being low. I'm sure if he can be out there a little bit longer, he will definitely have lots of time to make up for it. He is going up against some quality competition, though, and it's never easy when you're representing your country and you're debuting.
He looks to carve that away. So, start from Bashir Ahmed on the shorter side. That might have been a wide there that Akil played at, but again, no harm, no foul. Watch Bashir running again. That's a better length and a better line from Bashir Ahmed. Just trying to find that pace. A little bit on the slower side, a little bit slower than Sandeep and Akil Watchful. They wouldn't have played much cricket against each other, these two teams. That's been on the shorter side again. Played away in the air, but safe down to Karan Casey on the cover boundary. So just a single to Akil Kumar. As I said, although these cricketers would have seen maybe a little bit of video. You don't get much of that in the associate world, but they would have played a lot of cricket against each other. So the first few balls, you're trying to figure each other out here a little bit. So a little bit more room for error in the first few balls than later on in your spell. And that's edged, and Bashir Ahmed comes on, and anything Sandeep does, every move Sandeep does at this point in time is turned to gold as Bashir Ahmed picks up the wicket of Harsh Thakur. Edged, and a neat little catch there by the keeper.
A little bit harder than he should have, and unfortunately he walks back for a duck off of 3 deliveries. And you're right, I mean, a lot of these players are probably facing each other for the first time. Of course, the video footages are improved and have improved quite a bit from back in the day where you had just scorecards, and it's changing the way cricket is being played, isn't it? Because now you have access to video of all of your competition. You're constantly being analyzed. You're constantly being read apart. Just what your weaknesses are, what your strengths are. So I would say players are having to work a lot harder at their games these days than they did in the past. You're always under a scanner, for lack of better words. But I'm sure any sort of games that they can get against each other is always welcome. And this is what these players are here for. This is what they love to do.
Absolutely. You see Bashir Ahmed with that wicket. Harsh Thakur disappointed. Not troubling the scores on this occasion. As we see Uday Veer sing while you tried in Canada. 20 years of playing. 19. What a 15 World Cup. And these two played together at the Under-19 World Cup in 2020. So had a good showing for both bat and ball. Maybe looking at the big cup performance in the debut match.
Yeah, these drop balls are definitely starting to mount, and scoreboard pressure is going to get harder if it keeps going this way. And I have actually had the chance to have a conversation with Walia yesterday during all the time off with. Yeah, there's definitely some scoreboard pressure coming on here. 74 for 4 after 20 overs. They're already 4 wickets down and nowhere near that 250 par score that we were talking about. And you're right, these batsmen that are coming in right now, they don't have the luxury of time on their hands. They don't have the luxury of being able to watch a few balls. I mean, it is still better than in a T20, but at the same time, they need to try and rotate the strike a little bit better. It's okay if you can't get the big shots in right now.
As that's down the leg side as well, and they're going to sneak a run there. Really wide open field Kumar is a leg by, so they are not getting off the mark. 100% right. What Canada need right now is a partnership. And these two, they're young. They've shown the ability with both bat and ball, both guys, and they need to put runs on the board. lot of experience for a lot of their guys. Obviously, Sandeep playing around the world. Karen Casey has been a member of this team for a very long time. So a lot of experience for probably Canada showing a little bit of their experience in this game so far.
Yeah, you bring up a good point actually, and this is a very, very young Canadian side. A lot of the core contingent is not playing in this series, and it's partly because of unavailability. And the tournament was confirmed quite later on. So as much as this is not the strongest Canadian side that we have, I'm sure these youngsters are looking to put their best foot forward and take in as much as they can.
Sure, Karen Sharma as well from the last World Cup. So a number of these cricketers coming up the ranks. It's really good to see from Canada. That's played up in the air, and the crowd was into it there, Manali. They got excited as just holding in that wicket, which he's bound to do on this wicket. Dave Beer, lucky to survive.
Lots of smiles from the bowler there and the Nepali fans. Definitely being very watchful while you're here, and you bring up a good point about how important the player pathway is to have your youngsters and preparing them to eventually end up in that senior side. Oh, and that's driven straight back to the bowler pretty hard, and it just gets out of his fingers for Bashir Ahmed.
That's a drop catch. I'm putting that down as a drop catch. You get your hands on it, and Bubita will tell you. You get your hands on the ball. That's a catch, and you can tell from Bashir's reaction there. He's seen that as a catch as well. But Uday Beer, again, another strong lad, over 6 feet tall. We couldn't get there, but these guys have gotten there. Over 6 feet tall, strong man, hit that ball hard. And Bashir, lucky to have a few fingers left after that.
I believe so, and it is still a little cool out here, so I'm sure he's feeling it on his fingertips.
Yeah, I would say that the climate here and the temperature here today and yesterday is a little bit different than what they've had in Nepal. What they have in Nepal. I mean, maybe when you get into the mountain regions there, the Himalayas, but these gentlemen just coming from Houston, very hot in Houston, so not quite used to this weather just yet. The Nepali fans really getting into it now with every ball as they feel another wicket coming on. Sandeep and Bashir again building another strong bowling partnership. Sandeep bowling really well into his 7th over, continuously beating the bat. And there's that googly. Uday Beer reads it well, and that's hit off to the square leg boundary. And there is his first boundary for Canada, just short from Sandeep on that occasion, and Uday Beer was up to the task.
Oh, I'm sure he's feeling quite relieved with that boundary. Definitely takes care of some of the nerves. So, Arslan, you have also been in the past part of the player pathway within Cricket Canada growing up. How important is it to have the structure necessary to find talent at a young age, work with the talent, and with the hopes, of course, that they're going to be representing the country when the time is right for them?
Yeah, we have a little bit of time to talk about this as that ball has gone over the fence into the weeds as they search for that ball. It's incredibly important. I mean, at 19, 20 years old, you have a decision to make. Whether you want to pursue further education, start a career, and it makes it very difficult then to continue playing cricket. Finding a way and a pathway for these young cricketers, whether it's sending them to a program as Akil Kumar and Akash Gill from the OCA have done in New Zealand. And that's watchful again and again. Akil Kumar really the awareness is strong from Akil Kumar as they pinch a single there. Pinch it by there as that just got away from the keeper.
That looked like a tight single, though.
Very tight single, but that's what we need right now. Is that they need to start rotating the strike and putting the pressure back on Nepal. Nepal looking really solid and really confident in the field, and they need to be put under pressure here a little bit. Short again, and that's in the air, and that's an easy dismissal. Soft dismissal for Akil Kumar. That's just stuck in the wicket, and he's lobbed an easy catch to Alam at the uncovered field. And we talked about dragging Aaron Johnson off. And Ollie, this is... You might need to get a forklift to pick him up and take him off the field because he does not want to get off this ground.
Absolutely, he's really dragging. I don't blame him. He's tried to work really hard out there. I mean, He's been out there for 34 deliveries. Mind you, he's only scored 12 runs, but he tried to fight every single ball that he has faced. And of course, with the hopes that he was going to turn it into a bigger score and improve that strike rate. And with that wicket, Canada is now in a little bit of pressure and a little bit of trouble. We're at 81 for 5 after 22.4 overs. It's not looking very good for Canada, and we need some serious batting turnaround at this point.
You're being very generous with a little bit of trouble there, Manali. I think Canada is in a deep hole. And I will say there's probably no man better to get them out of that hole than the captain himself, and Saad bin Zafar coming into bat at number 7 for Canada. He's been in fine form. It's the day of it. It's the age of social media, so we've been seeing his scores. He's been scoring runs, taking wickets across various competitions this year. And it's got to be him. He's playing against his good friend. He's going to be coming up against his good friend Tiplan Chane, captaining against each other. So it's captain on captain here. And Saad, again, we've said it multiple times today. They need a partnership. And it's got to be these two.
Yep, he has definitely got to play a captain's knock today, and he might be going up against a friend, but when you're on the field, you're definitely foes.
100%. I could not agree more. Watchful slip still in place. Sandeep deciding to come around the wicket with the left-hander now. And this is again where the rotation of strikes becomes important with the left-hand, right-hand combination. Starts him off. Watchful there from Saad Zafar, just playing that off into the onside. Straight to the wicket, along there. Too happy with that. A little bit of casual fielding there.
Yes.
At short fine leg. But Sandeep again, 2 for 30 in 7 overs. He'll be happy with that spell so far. And again, calling his own number, and he said, "I'm going to be the man to take these wickets," and he's certainly done so.
That's the Canadian captain. He's got his work cut out for him over there, and Sandeep Lamichhane definitely not happy with the fielding in that last delivery. There was a rare misfield from a Nepali fielder. At least it's gotten the Canadian captain off of strike, got him going a little bit more, and let's see how well these two guys can rotate the strike and bring up the score to where it should be. We're still sitting at 3.5 runs and over, but it's going to be tough when you're 5 wickets down and you're heading into your tail end of your batting lineup. Bashir's coming in to bowl his 3rd over, and he's sitting at an incredible economy rate of just 1.
That's been hit hard. So this field by Alon there on the cover, at cover, so that allows Saad to get off to the non-strike for a single. Bashir now takes it here. He's hit his quota per over. That's the 1 run that they need per his over. So he's hit his quota there. I was going to say before that ball, Manali, it was captain on the other end. It's left-arm spinner on left-arm spinner. Saad decided to take that moment away from me.
Can't make it too easy for you.
Again, that's played on the front foot there by Abirwalia.
Uday Birwalia is he's racking up his dot balls right now with 15 balls used up for just 5 runs that he scored.
But they pinch another single there, so good single there, good running. And again, the running between the wickets should improve with Saad bin Zafar there. At this point, Manali, I don't think runs is the name of the game. They need to build a partnership here and stop the flow of wickets. It's been a steady flow so far early on in this innings. As we approach the midway mark of this game, Saad and Udebir need to really stick it out. And Saad being watchful there, gets on the front foot, defended.
Would you say the lack of 50-over cricket that the associates are playing has had an impact on how they go about and how their scores are showing up on 50-over games?
And that's been guided down to the third man boundary. Just a single there as the man at the point fielder runs to stop that. So just a single. You know, between 20, there's been a lot of T20 cricket, and that's the future. We all know it, especially for associate nations. It is T20 cricket. But I will say the local competition is all 50 overs. You know, there is a T20 portion as well, but a lot of these cricketers, as you watch Bashir run in, short, watchful from a debut, a lot of the cricket they're playing is 50 overs in the local league, so it shouldn't be too drastically changed here. The competition coming up is a 50 over competition, and these cricketers have played a lot of cricket growing up that it has been 50 overs, so you know, I think the translation has to be T20 cricket versus the other way around, considering the cricket that they've played, especially in the early part of 2022.
Yeah, you're right. The local competition is definitely very 50 over heavy, which makes you wonder why we are struggling to be able to bat out 50 overs. Even the games played on the weekend in the past, where Nepal was having their warm-up games, the scores were slightly worrying for Canadians. I guess the totals were fairly low, and that could be in part some of the conditions of the grounds as well.
Sandeep to begin his 8th over. I'm gonna come back to you with a question, Mel, like, as we watch Sandeep pull the side here. We talked about the Nepal team playing a lot of cricket together, being together consistently. Everybody knows their role within the squad, within the team. Another googly there from Sandeep. Has come out. He really wants his wicket aside, I can tell you that. The lack of playing cricket together for Canada is the other side. What impact do you think that's having on the performance here today?
That's a really good point you bring up, and it's huge. It's huge, and we could see that even yesterday when both of the teams were in the pavilion. The Nepali cricketers definitely have so much better camaraderie. They just know each other so much better. They're having a good time with each other. Whereas with the Canadians, they're still trying to figure out who the other person is. They're still trying to understand what sort of chemistry there is on this team. And at a certain point, when you're playing at a high level, you need to feel not just comfortable, but you need to understand the players that you're playing with. You need to have that mental understanding. And Canada is definitely short on that compared to Nepal. They just don't have the same sort of exposure. Or
that was an off-spin delivery by Sandeep Lamichandra there. So again, a little bit of gamesmanship. We said that these two were close, but certainly some gamesmanship there between these two.
Sandeep's mixing it up as well as he can to try and get that third wicket of his.
He's certainly bowling off-spin here, so this is new in his armory, something that we've not seen before. But again, Sandeep feeling like he can do anything out there at the moment, and why shouldn't he? 2 for 30 and 8 overs with a maiden.
Yeah, he's all smiles out there, high-fiving and having a good time. And going back to your previous point, the more games that I guess these players will play with each other, the better it's going to the better it's going to get for Canada. But when your opportunities are so far and few, you have to make the most that you can for whenever they do come around. The national championships next week should help, because while they're not all playing in the same team, they're still going to be in the same setting. So getting to know the other players, whether on the field or off the field, it just helps. It helps the camaraderie overall improve, the team spirit improve.
Will be Bashir Ahmed to continue Brigadier watchful there again. This is good from these two. Again, the lack of rotation strike, not an issue right now for this moment for the next over. They need to start building a partnership here. And again, watch that would look like to be a little bit of the on ball there from Bashir Ahmed. So again, both these spinners starting to put their hand in their toolkit and bring out all the tools here. So but you're 100% right.